Hey there, YouTube. This is Vargas XX78 with a new episode of Vargas Reviews. I know it's been a while since I've posted one of these videos. I've mostly been posting, pickup videos, but lately there really hasn't been anything that has come out that I've actually wanted to see in the theater, and other things have come up that have also prevented me from doing so. I just saw a movie, and that's the one I really wanted to talk about. But since I'm recording this, I'll also talk about the last movie I've seen before, the one I want to talk about, and that was Insurgent, which is the sequel to the Divergent series. I don't know if they're gonna make a last part or if this was it, but as far as movie sequels go, I didn't think that this one was pretty bad. It follows the events of the first one and how everyone's dealing with the chaos that happened in the last movie, and the main characters are trying to find a place to basically hide out while they figure out their next move. So in that aspect, it was pretty good. The main actress, whose name I forget, but she was in that movie, Fault in Our Stars. She's a pretty good actress, I think. I'm actually surprised she doesn't get more acting work. But she was pretty good in this. Her acting's pretty good, I think. The rest of the characters are okay. They introduced this other character that wants to actually bring down the establishment. She wants to bring everything down and do away with these factions and everything. So that brings her into contact with the characters and into conflict with the scientist chick that has found a box that supposedly is a recording from the people that built this city and the faction system. This movie does borrow a lot from other movies, like if anyone saw The Giver, the ending, or even Maze Runner. What happens in this movie, and I'm going to spoil it because it's been a while since the movie came out, but basically this whole faction thing was an experiment done by people for reasons. And to create people that would break the mold, because supposedly those people would be the ones that would, benefit mankind in the long run. So, if you saw Maze Runner or The Giver, it's pretty much the same thing. They do what they do, and then they break the mold in the experiment, and then everything happens. They also rip off The Matrix, because they have the main character plug into this simulation program, so she's doing all these crazy jumps and stunts, and so it borrows from The Matrix too. But despite that heavy borrowing from other sci-fi movies, I enjoyed it. I thought the acting was pretty good. I didn't feel insulted with the movie. I had a good time watching it, but honestly, I don't know how well it did to merit them doing, because I know it's a book series of 3 books, so I don't know if this is gonna merit the now typical splitting the last book into 2 movies, or if the third movie's just not gonna happen at all, because I don't think it did that well. But like I said, that's the movie I saw. The one I really wanted to talk about, and the reason for this video, is the wife and me went to see Furious 7, which is the new Fast and the Furious movie. Honestly, my favorite one is still the 5th one. I've mentioned this to all of my friends and everyone that will listen to me. But my favorite one is the 5th one. I just like everything that went into that movie, the characters, the comedy, the way that they would plan everything to pull out their heist, and just that movie, for me, is the superior movie. The 6th one felt too over the top. The movie series itself is over the top, but that movie in particular felt too over the top. It felt almost to the point of being ridiculous. The comedy was still there, but it wasn't as good as the 5th one. There was some planning, but not as deep as the 5th one. They reintroduced Michelle Rodriguez in that one, and they kill off Han. Honestly, the best part of the 6th one is at the end where they tease that Jason Statham would be part of the seventh one, and I was looking forward to that for the longest time because you know I like crossover movies, and I always uh, envisioned that as the transporter beating up The Rock and Vin Diesel. I thought that would be awesome. Um, Also, a lot of people wanted to see this movie. I was also curious on how they were going to do it with the unfortunate death of Paul Walker, how they were going to complete the movie because he did seem to film a lot of it, but there were chunks of it that they filmed after his death. So I was interested in seeing how they would pull that off. If you could notice right off the bat the CG that they might have used to put his face on someone else's body. Because my wife was telling me that they also used his brother for the faraway scenes, who kind of looks like Paul Walker. But I was curious mostly for the Jason Statham interaction and to see how they would deal with the Paul Walker situation. And honestly, this movie delivered. I do think that this movie delivered in everything that I was hoping for. Still, the fifth one is my favorite one, but this one comes close to being my favorite second. The action is amazing. It's not as it's not as ridiculous as the sixth one. It's over the top like the rest of the series, but it doesn't feel as ridiculous as the sixth one to me. Great action, great set pieces. The fight scenes with Jason Statham and everyone else, because Jason Statham in this movie feels like Terminator. He's hunting down Vin Diesel and his crew, and he appears in the most inappropriate moments to basically stick it to them and cause as much chaos as he can. So the Jason Statham part in this is great. They wrote him in a way that he's pretty badass. I was watching the Cinema Snob review, and honestly, he mentioned that the Jason Statham character is like in his whole movie, because this band of gangs. Jason Statham plays the brother of the villain from the sixth one, who's still alive apparently, just crippled and in the hospital. So he's looking for revenge. So in any other movie, as the Cinema Snob mentioned, you would focus on and be rooting on Jason Statham because he's going after these people in a quest for revenge. But he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy in this, and but he plays such a good bad guy. You do believe that he could kick any one of these people's asses. So basically, Vin Diesel and crew have to. It's a very complicated plot because they want to get revenge on Jason Statham because he killed Han, and but they go about it in a way that they have to find a program that will allow them to find anyone in the world. But honestly, Jason Statham is looking after them anyway. So if they maybe would have set up a trap, they would have got him. But that doesn't matter. It's awesome to see Jason Statham because he has a fight right off the bat with The Rock. And when you have The Rock involved in any movie, you have to have a rock bottom. And the way that they handled the rock bottom in this one, I think, was pretty cool. But they have a pretty cool fight. They're fighting, and Jason Statham kicks his ass. That's when The Rock, who plays Hobbs in the movie series, lets Vin Diesel know that this guy's after him, and that's when everything sets up. But then the fight between Vin Diesel and Jason Statham was pretty cool. They fight with wrenches and pieces of cars. So that, as far as the fight scenes go, really, really cool. Like I said, the plot is pretty convoluted, but Kurt Russell makes an appearance in this movie. And it's great to see Kurt Russell in a movie because I haven't seen him in the last movie I saw him in. I don't remember if it was Poseidon or Sky High, but it's good to see Kurt Russell. I'm honestly surprised he didn't appear in the Expendables movies. But Kurt Russell's in this movie. He does a great part. He's this Black Ops secret agent that also wants to get his hands on Jason Statham. So it's awesome. It's fast paced, non-stop action, done well. The director, James Wan, I think his name is most known for horror movies. But the way that he directed this movie I thought was pretty cool, and it's edited very awesomely. As far as the Paul Walker thing, there were one or two scenes where I could tell that they digitized his face because it looked weird. You know that uncanny valley thing where it's his face, but it's kind of like digitized into the body of someone else. You would have to, like I did, you would have to really, really look for those things to notice them. But otherwise, if if you weren't looking at specifically for those moments, you wouldn't notice them. There are parts where the long distance parts they either use someone like they're talking to him, but it's only the back of his head. So that could be one of the scenes where Paul Walker didn't film. But honestly, it doesn't take you off the movie itself. The Paul Walker thing doesn't take it off. He does seem like he filmed a good chunk of the movie, just some key points where he wasn't there, and the way that they retired the character is that he already had a kid and he's expecting another one. So basically, he's gonna leave everything behind and become a family man. But the way that they actually give him that send off and the way that they do this flashback to the rest of the series from the first one all the way to this one, I thought was handled very, very well. I've heard from other people that they did. Once they admitted, they will admit that they got a little bit choked up, because of that. A lot of people, once they get to Paul Walker's goodbye, and myself included, they did get a little choked up because they really handled it very, very well. Vin Diesel mentioned in an interview that he is sure that this movie will win an Oscar. That's a bold statement coming from Vin Diesel. It's good. The movie is really, really good. It's the action again is so amazing, and everyone gives a good performance. But Oscar material, I don't think the Academy will look well. They might give Paul Walker, just like they did with Heath Ledger. They might give Paul Walker an Oscar, but I don't think the movie itself will win an Oscar. It's not bad. It's not bad, but the Academy tends to like a different kind of movie genre. But any other award, it broke the box office the weekend that it released. So at least it made a bunch of money, and they already announced they were going to do an eighth movie. But honestly, that seems a bit much. They could have ended the series with this movie, with the seventh, because it was a nice tie up with everything, and they gave Paul Walker his goodbye. But if you haven't seen it, which honestly, given the numbers, I don't believe there's anyone out there that hasn't seen the movie. But if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. It's a great action movie. Again, it's over the top, but it's not as ridiculous as the sixth one, I feel. So if that was an issue you had with the sixth one, they fixed this on the seventh. And honestly, just because of the fight scenes. There's a really good fight scene between Michelle Rodriguez and Ronda Rousey. Honestly, in real life, Ronda Rousey would kick Michelle Rodriguez's ass, but that fight scene was pretty cool as well. I forgot to mention it. So, yeah. Great movie. Definitely go see it. If I have a chance to watch it again, because my brothers haven't watched it, so if I have a chance to watch it again with them, I'll go see it again, because it's that good, and I'm definitely going to buy it on DVD when it comes out. So, yeah, like I said, only two movies to talk about. I'm looking forward to Avengers. Here in Mexico, we're going to get it a week before it releases in the US. So, I'll try to record a video when it releases in the US so I don't spoil much. Or I might release it as soon as I see it. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to Avengers. And down the line, Jurassic World is going to come out. Really, really looking forward to that one as well. And then Star Wars in December. It's going to be a good year. There's a bunch of other movies that are going to release, but those three are the main ones I'm looking forward to. Because I like me some dinosaurs, and the Marvel movies have been amazing, and it's good to see Star Wars. What little I've seen of that Star Wars movie really has me excited that this is gonna be a great project. So I'm really excited about those three movies, and you'll definitely see a Vargas review for each one of those. But until then, watch Fast and the Furious 7, or Furious 7 as it's called. Just great fun. Definitely gonna buy it as soon as it comes out, and I'm gonna watch it once, twice, thrice, and then one with the audio commentary. But good movie. So thanks so much for watching, and until I see you all again, this is Vargas XX78 thanking you and signing out.